thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach it. Put an effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Oh, why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
There was, according to the Washington Post reporting, a surging number of unaccompanied minors being apprehended at the border. In 2014, there were nearly 70,000, according to the Post reporting. And that same year, there was this viral image of children being kept in a cage at a detention center. Do you see any parallels here? How different is what we're seeing today from these images?
In many ways, and I think I don't know what image you're using, but I released some of those photos because it was kept very quiet under the Obama administration. There were large numbers of people coming in. The Obama administration was trying to keep this quiet, and I don't know which image you're using, but I released some photos that I had gone about those young kids who were kept there, and we're still seeing numbers. And keep in mind, when they talk about putting some of the young kids in those centers, not all of them are being separated. Some of them are coming alone, as Ed said a few minutes ago. Some of them are coming on their own. So it's not a matter that every single child that we have in those centers are being separated, because some of them are coming alone. Keep in mind that under the law, you can separate a child if that person, the adult, is not the real parent or the custodian. Because sometimes we see situations where they'll bring a child because they know of the policy that we have over here with children, or at least what we used to have. Or if there's a criminal offense.
You have to concentrate on saying the people who should be here are those who come legally at this time. And we've got to, for the time being, enforce our borders. The day when America could be the welfare system for Mexico is gone. We simply can't afford it. And I think you've seen the figures to state and local governments of what the cost is. It's over $2 billion.
I think we should enforce our borders. To have a situation where 40% of the babies born on Medicaid in California today are born of illegal immigrants creates a very real problem for the state, which is in deficit.
To better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. Those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Mexican government's policies are pushing migration north. There isn't any sensible approach except to do what we need to do simultaneously, secure our borders with technology, personnel, physical barriers if necessary in some places, and we need to have tougher employer sanctions, and we need to try to incentivize.
All right, you're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. What's up, people? Monday, 2-ish o'clock. Just a programming note. I'm not going to be in Friday, so my Friday show is probably going to be this show. So just letting everybody know. So let's get into it. I'll go over. My Mondays are pretty interesting, right? Because I get to speak with, my coworkers, acquaintances, and other people who pass through the studio, host from this station that come on and get to spew their stuff, and so it's interesting. By the time I do my show at 2 o'clock, my head is usually hurting from all the craziness I've heard, right? Actually, on my way into work this morning, it was probably around 7:45 when I was tuned into our radio station, 103.5 FM, streaming live online, but we're an FM station, so downtown New Haven, I listen to it just to make sure the radio sounds good, and Joe Ugly is on in the morning. And he was talking about my hashtag walk away testimony that I had put on the hashtag walk away campaign page on Facebook, right? And he was doing his thing. He was criticizing me. Of course, name calling and everything. So his studio is right across the green here. So instead of going down on Chapel Street or Elm Street, I made that right and cut over to his studio. So I kind of surprised him this morning. He didn't think I was going to show up, even though he was doing a segment on my hashtag walk away testimony. And what he was doing is trying to mock it, right? He was trying to mock it. This way, people who have been listening to me and who are hashtag walking away won't take the testimony of people who are walking away seriously. So he tried to make fun of everything, but I showed up, and I'm glad Joe was wearing his Depends this morning because he nearly peed his pants, and so we had a nice little segment there. I got to be nice to the dude because he already walked away from our show. We had a show called Drive By Headlines on Fridays, which he hashtag walked away from that show because he was the liberal who was getting his feelings hurt and didn't have the answer for the uncivilized behavior that they are showing the rest of America, the rest of the world. But anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole interview, but if you guys want to go see it, go to Ugly Radio. I think it's Ugly Radio on Facebook Live. And you should be able to catch the video there. I'm on right around the 8 o'clock hour, so look for me. It's a pretty good interview. Pushed back a little. It is his show, so he basically tried to dominate the conversation. But it was good. So check it out. Now, that was my morning. Now, throughout the day today, look, I've had the abortion debate today. I've had the gay debate today. The Supreme Court debate today. Right? So it's interesting, and I'll go over each debate because one debate jumps into the next one, right? Because they were freaking out here that Trump might pick a woman for the next Supreme Court justice. Now, you would figure Democrats should be happy. They're the champions of women. You know, they're the ones who are making sure that the war on women doesn't continue. You know, that crazy left, right? But they were afraid because he was setting it up so that they have to attack a woman. What's new? The Democrats attack whoever, everyone who's on the right. They could care less if you're a woman. They forget about women's rights. They go after you hard. They made fun of Sarah. I mean, well, they made fun of Sarah Sanders, but they made fun of what's her name? I just lost the name. Ran with John McCain, her special needs son. Jeez. Anyway, so they make fun of everybody, right? It's nothing new. They made fun of kids. They were hoping that Trump's son was put in a cage with a pedophile. How much lower can you get than that? They act like the Democrats have some type of standards. Their only standard is if they're a Republican, if they're conservative, attack. Attack by any means necessary. They will go after you. So anyway, so we were having that Supreme Court justice debate. And it turned, and I won't tell you who it is, this Democrat operatives, I know communists, Democrats, immigration activists, all the kooks you could ever hope to find all live here in Connecticut, right? And especially New Haven. Right? So that debate went into abortion, and I read a meme to them that I had just, because they said, oh, so any judge Trump picks, they have to, he's only going to pick them on the condition that they overturn Roe v. Wade. And I'm like, that's a lie. Who told you that? Oh, well, everybody knows that this Trump's nomination is conditional on them to overturn. I'm like, I don't know where you're getting your information, right? But so then we started talking about Roe v. Wade. And I read this meme of Forrest Gump on the bench. And it says, and just like that, they went from freaking out about babies being separated to freaking out about the Supreme Court taking away their right to kill babies. And like that, right? Everybody stay silent. Are you saying Democrats kill babies? I said, well, I'm not saying that at all. They're saying, I thought you were pro-abortion. I'm like, whoever said I'm pro-abortion? I'm pro-life. Right? So they go, wait, so you're saying that, and this is the argument they always make, right? If a woman gets raped, she doesn't have the right. I'm like, nope. I'm actually for giving the woman that right. I'm for conditional abortion. If the lady's about to die, I'm for that too. Right? So they're like, wait, so, okay. So now that I killed both of those arguments, now they're like, so you're saying we're murderers? It's like insane. I'm like, you said I was a Nazi last week. So it's like, why can you call names and I can't? So it's interesting because that turned into, okay, so then tell me at what point is it a baby? What point do you count? You start counting. Well, the mother decides when it's a baby. I'm like, wait a, hold on. I don't understand that. How does the mother get to decide when the baby? Doesn't the baby get to decide when it's a baby? When his heart starts beating? When it starts dreaming? Doesn't the baby get a chance at this life? When does the baby become a baby to them? And they're like, well, you see, that's not a fair question. And that's the trick there, right? Nothing's ever fair for them. They get to deny science. Look, if I say there's no global warming, if I say, of course there's global warming, it goes in cycles. Of course there's global warming. There's global cooling. There's global warming, right? They'll go, you're a science denier. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm the science denier when I could actually prove the ebbs and flows of the weather. But you're not a science denier when it comes to a baby's heart beating? You're not a science denier when it comes to the brain of the baby actually working? You're not denying science? So you see, they always get to decide the standards of what is real, what is true, what is not. So I'm a science denier because I think in the summer it's supposed to get hot. In the winter it's supposed to get cold. Right? I'm denying science. But they deny science. But when they could actually hear the baby's heartbeat, know that the baby is dreaming, they don't consider that denying science. They just get to make stuff up. Make it up as they go along, right? As long as it fits their agenda. As long as it fits their narrative. Right? So that debate from the baby, what was it? Oh. From the baby turned into the gay debate. And look, I'm just riding their wave, right? Because they're constantly changing topics, trying to catch me on something they could, aha. And it's like, so they tell me, well, don't you think that there's too many kids in the system, people who don't want their babies? I say, yeah, but there's people who want to adopt. And it's like, there's people who want to adopt, but there's not enough people. And I love when the words come out of their mouths, right? It's like the words that I'm going to use in the debate as we go along, it's going to be their words. And they'll never have an answer for it because it's their words. So I go, wait a minute. There's plenty of people out there who want babies. We just have to make it easier for people to have babies, for people to adopt babies, not see it as taboo when you're adapting across races, mixed race and everything, where a lot of people see it as taboo or not allowing gay couples to adopt babies. Let them form families, right? Oh, that right there. I said gay families adopt babies. And here's the interesting part, right? I'm the conservative in this. And they go, wait a minute. You believe in gay parents adopting babies? And I'm like, yes. Why wouldn't I believe that? A child who's in the system, who deserves a home, who deserves a loving family, who cares who's giving that child the nurturing love that they need? Who cares who it is? We all need love. We all need to be embraced. We all need each other, right? We all need to belong. So, these Democrats, go, I'm not sure if I agree with that. And I go, well, wait a minute. What do you mean you don't agree with it? Well, I'm not sure if that's entirely healthy for the baby. And I'm like, what is going on here? Now I'm the one who's gonna defend the liberal point, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? What is unhealthy for the baby? Well, the baby will be confused. No, the baby won't be confused. The baby will just think this is a normal environment. Sure, and then they go, well, yeah, sure, but until he gets bullied, and I'm like, all right. Stop right there. Let's just stop right there. Because people are bad to each other regardless of sex, gender, whatever it is you want to, race, color of your skin, whatever it is you want to say. People are bad to each other. You just have to educate people to stop being mean to each other. And they go, no, wait a minute. Now you see, these are Democrats. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't the gay marriage and everything your platform? And they said, yeah, we believe in the freedom for people to do whatever they want. We just don't believe that you should force a kid. And I'm like, it started to make my head hurt, because these are your Democrats. A lot of Democrats are like this. Believe it or not, a lot of Democrats, they vote. They're either one issue people, right? They're healthcare or welfare, but they don't believe in the Democrat agenda, right? A lot of them don't even believe. I'm like, why are you Democrat? I said, so wait a minute. So shouldn't you be an alt-right Republican if you feel this way? And they're like, yes, but they believe, not me, never believe. They said they believe in open borders. So it's like, so wait a minute. So you want unaccompanied kids who aren't attached to their parents to come over here, and us to have to take care of them, adding more kids to our system, our whatever human services system. But you don't want these kids to be able to get a home if they never find a parent? You don't want these kids to be nurtured and loved? And they're like, that's a totally different thing. This is what I'm saying. Democrats are hypocrites. And they said, we don't have to believe that, no matter, it's more of a religious stance. And I'm like, whoa, wait. That's even worse. And I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but this is how they are. They were all over the place. So I'm like, that's even worse. Because you're going to take a religious stance on this, but not take your religious stance on abortion? Christians who believe that God knew you from the womb. Christians who believe that go and vote for politicians that want to kill that baby that God knows in the womb. So, look. So, I just let you into a little bit of my day, right? So, they told me that I'm that I'm wavering on this issue, and that now they're not sure if I'm a Republican. And I'm like, whoa, it's like insane, right? So then I'm not sure they're Democrats. They're not sure if I'm Republican. Maybe we should meet somewhere in the middle and stop hating each other. Anyway, all right. That was my morning. Oh, well, my day up till 2 o'clock. We had the cannabis show previous to this one. All right. So you're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the mainstream media. I'll come back with some headlines, but I just wanted to let you into a little bit of what I go through with crazy Democrats.
Will you forgive me for For the things that I do, will you forgive me? For the things that I've done, coming from where I'm from, not too many make it out. I'm just trying to be the one, I'm just trying to be that one. I like the dark, I ain't chasing the sun. I know I'm gon' shine when the time come. I'ma be the best that ever did it. Just gotta stay committed. I lose my mind trying to find it, get my head together. I'm stressing. Sent my brother a message. He promised to never stop fighting as long as I'm writing. That's what I needed. Through my eyes, he'll always be undefeated. He said I got it, and boy, do I believe it. I knew it since a youngin'. You know that feeling? Like you don't really belong in the pain, but come your healing, I'm strong. But what if I ain't have to be? Guess I wouldn't be the woman I am. Being broken is half of me. They gon' say they feel me, but do they really though? When it get really show who gon' really be down for you. Say you got a circle, but they ain't really around for you. Won't feed you, but that's your man's hold a pound for you when it's beef. Man, I'm just trying to eat. Everybody catching bodies, I'm just bodying beats. Telling my story because can't nobody tell it better. Leave it to me and I'ma leave them with something that lasts forever. Breathe again, yet again. I need all the flaws, scars, and all the walls we hold to get off of me. I need a moment I can breathe again, yet again. Who to call when all the lights and shows is all we know and it's haunting me. I need a moment I can breathe again, yet again. I need a moment I can breathe again, yet again. I need a moment I can breathe again, yet again. I need a moment I can breathe again, yet again. I need a moment I can breathe again. Will you accept me? With all of my flaws, will you regret me? When I'm in the wrong, will you help me make it right? Will you keep me in mind? Even when I'm out of sight, I've seen so much, can't blame me for it. I've been praying more, a mistake come with a price, guess I'm paying for it. Looking back on my life, all the things I did right, I ain't really get much praise for it. But I ain't come to plead my case, I came to make my peace. Let me talk to you, do you mind if I preach? Still a lot on my chest that I just wanna release. Said this all before, feel like I'm on repeat. Getting harder to sleep, guilt trips, got my mind drifting. Ain't much change, it's a time difference. Everybody still having a hard time listening. It's these sides to every story, only mine missing. They try to read me, but I'm not a book. Couldn't judge me by my cover, took a second look. Past the chapter of believing in happily ever afters. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Is it true? I don't know, but at times it helps. Then I look around to see I got it in myself. Mind take me to an unfamiliar place. I'm looking you in the face, and all I could think to say is I need a moment to forgive again, yet again. I need all the flaws.
You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. I'm gonna read the article, but I just want to remind everybody, right? For all the Democrats out there who are on the fence, thinking about it, thinking about leaving, thinking about, you know, you're stuck there because you know you don't believe in the incivility that's going on. You don't believe in shutting down speech. You don't believe in getting in people's face and trying to intimidate them. You don't believe in the violence of hitting people because they're wearing a Trump hat. You know, you don't believe in the agenda of open borders. You don't believe in the agenda of letting criminals go. Not calling ICE to pick up somebody who's just committed a crime. Letting them go out the back door. You don't believe in that. Well, I'm telling you, if you're thinking about it, or you're just lost and don't know where to go, you're not sure you want to leave your party, but you're looking for some like-minded people, I recommend that you go to the hashtag #WalkAway campaign, because it might do you good to read stories that are similar to yours. And you might just end up realizing that it might be time to hashtag walk away. It might be time for you to be liberated. It might be time for you to look for freedom.
Freedom!
Yeah, you remember that, right, from Braveheart? But it's time for you to have that guttural scream of freedom, just like that. Because if you feel trapped, look, if you've been walking around miserable for the last year and whatever, half that Trump's been president, and you don't even know why, just because somebody told you to feel miserable. When you think that Trump is somehow making you feel depressed, like he's some cloud following you, ask yourself why you feel that way. When all you hear is that he's destroying the country, but you have no proof. You just know that somebody else told you it, so it makes you feel horrible. When you hear that somebody's racist because they're for Trump, when you hear that a Hispanic person doesn't like Hispanics, when you start hearing stuff that doesn't make sense like that, but it makes you feel horrible, it's time for you to start looking for something that makes you feel better, or at least look for the reason that you're feeling so horrible. Not just because somebody said it. So if they tell you Trump's destroying the economy, which I hear all the time, which is insane, right? So I give them facts. I go, wait a minute. Unemployment rate at 4%. Unemployment rate for Hispanics, lowest ever. Unemployment rate for blacks, lowest ever. 600,000 people just went back into the labor force. That means 600,000 people are feeling so good about the economy. People who were sitting on the sideline jumped back into the labor force to look for jobs because there are jobs. So when people are telling you stuff, you should check it. It's time for you to check why you're feeling so horrible and whether what they're telling you is true. But I suggest you start with the hashtag walkaway campaign. I've been reading stories of people. They have stories that people have written. You have videos that people have put up. And it might make you feel better to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. There's other people who didn't understand what was going on around them either. And you'll find out that dark cloud that's following you is actually the propaganda that people are selling you. That propaganda that becomes a weight on your shoulders. But it's time for you to liberate yourself. All right. Let's get to a headline. All right. So Trump meeting focuses on Supreme Court candidates Kavanaugh and Hardiman. So President Trump spent Monday morning seeking input on Brett Kavanaugh and Thomas Hardiman as potential Supreme Court nominees to fill the seat being vacated by the retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. The New York Times reported, citing people familiar with the discussions, the call signaled that Trump has narrowed his list of potential candidates to two finalists. And this is on The Hill, thehill.com, for people who keep asking me to put links to the headlines that I read. I'm doing too many things to copy and paste links. So go to The Hill and look up this headline. So let's talk about the Supreme Court, right? Because I've been thinking about what's going on with the Supreme Court, and I hear all the excuses on both sides as to why you should pick this person over that person. And for the Democrats, why you shouldn't even vote at all because this is an election year. And I just want, just look at the facts. Forget about what people are saying. Look at the facts, right? Now they say this is the Mitch McConnell rule that you don't nominate a Supreme Court justice during an election. And that's a lie, because Mitch McConnell was actually quoting the Joe Biden rule when Joe Biden said under Bush that you don't, and when Joe Biden said it, it was about 2 years before the next election. And he said that if a Supreme Court justice died or retired, that George Bush should not be allowed to nominate anyone because he would be a lame duck president, right? So Mitch McConnell used that. Harry Reid says something like that also. And their position was, during a presidential election coming up, when you have a president who's a lame duck, which the only reason you think he's a lame duck is because he's in his second term, the final 2 years of his second term, which people call a lame duck. But so Mitch McConnell, pounced on those words from Joe Biden and used it as his reasoning for not allowing Obama's nominee candidate to get voted on, which I think that he should have let it get voted on. You just vote it down, right? I forgot who it was, Merrill something, some Obama's nominee, right? So that's a lie. Nobody ever said you don't nominate Supreme Court justices during any election. It's a lie. So Democrats, stop using that. It's just ridiculous, and you sound ignorant when you say it. And then another thing is that Trump is gonna put people in there who are gonna go after Roe v. Wade, or be an alt-right person, which none of these judges, everybody, even the Democrats have to say none of these judges are crazy. They're worried about the Roe v. Wade, right? Now, none of these judges, and this is the Ruth Bader Ginsburg rule, when they were asking her questions, the rule was you can't ask a judge about something or about a case that's not before her, because she may actually have to judge the case later, especially in the Supreme Court. So people say you couldn't ask Ruth Bader Ginsburg certain questions, right? Well, that applies to everybody that Trump has there. You just can't ask them how they're going to rule on a case that is not before them, and they have to actually see the evidence and the reasoning of the case. So they should not want to decide or not want to change that Ruth Bader Ginsburg rule where you could ask them whatever they want. And then another thing, some Democrats are saying, or they're saying that one of the nominees was too Catholic. And now there's a religious test. So the Republicans aren't allowed to talk about anything when it comes to religion, sex, blah, blah, blah. But the Democrats, this is what I mean about them setting the standards for everything. So they get to say that a person is too religious. Another bad thing. And then the last thing that I want to say about this is the reasoning for the Democrats. Now, you have to understand, the Democrats, if you look at the judges they have activist judges, right? You read Sotomayor's last, I forgot what you call it, but her writings on the last case, and you notice she could care less about the law. She could care less about the law. She's just worried about her feelings and how people feel, and So the Democrats are constantly nominating activist judges. And they're worried. And Supreme Court Justice Kennedy, he actually voted on a couple of cases where he went with feelings, with his heart and everything. So they're afraid of getting somebody who's just going to stick to the law. And that's really, the Democrats are afraid that Trump is going to put people on the Supreme Court who are just going to adhere to the law, to the Constitution. So if Trump actually gets his nominee on the court, that's one less activist the Democrats have. Even though I think, what's his name, Roberts. I think Justice Roberts is actually gonna be that swing vote. I honestly think that he voted for Obamacare. He actually created Obamacare with his allowing it to be called a tax, even though Obama had campaigned on it not being a tax. See, so here's the thing. Obama said it wasn't a tax. When they pushed it through the Congress, they said it wasn't a tax. And that's the most important part. When they pushed it through the Congress, they told America it wasn't a tax. So they shouldn't have been allowed to actually go in front of the Supreme Court and change that. But, Justice Roberts went with them. And that's the most worrying thing, because I think he did it for reasons that have nothing to do with the law. So I think the left is going to be fine when it comes to having a swing vote. That's going to be Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. But that's their big worry. They're worried about one less activist judge. Not that Kennedy was an activist judge, but like I said, with Roberts and Kennedy, they're influenced by other things other than the law, So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know who Trump should go with. I think they said Kavanaugh actually ruled on something similar to what Roberts did when it came to Obamacare in the lower court. So maybe he might end up being another Anthony Kennedy. Not that that would be so bad, but we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. But it's interesting with all the arguments. It's like the Democrats. The Democrats always pull this one, right? The Democrats always say, prove you're not racist, or prove you're not this, prove, Trump should prove he's not trying to get rid of Roe v. Wade and put a more liberal judge. Prove he's not racist and put a more liberal judge. What? Like the Democrats would ever do that? When do you know the Democrats to ever concede a point? How about they prove they're American and allow the president to do his job and the Senate to do their job without them being harassed? Hey, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Concrete, all I see is blood stained white sheets. Say they somebody dying, is bringing heat like the iron, and you ain't got that beef, still clapping, friggin' fine. All I hear is sirens. Pray I ain't taking another loss. Life came with a course, and we all pay it. Names engraved, claim the graves that we laying. They gon' tell you they love you, won't tell you when they was hating. And them saying niggas that's gon' fake it until they make it. The rest of us out here gon' get it, cause we gon' take it. Don't tell me what you got. Tell me how you got it, that ain't the life you live. So how you figure you bought it, I'ma be real till I die. You say the same and I doubt it, you let the hype gas you up. I'm hot regardless, without it, never been the type to brag. But I got this in the bag, and I'm trying, boy, to go for it. I just shit never had, give my dad a bigger crib. Mama better way to live, my sister's the comfortability and not needing these niggas. Build me a house up on the mountain or some issue. Make it see through just to walk around but naked in that bitch, I deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For every time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For all the time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For every night I stayed up with a pain in my gut, cold wind in my strut, don't know where I'm going, but I'm going and I ain't looking back. Could only blame myself, thinking only if I could've took it back. I've been stupid, I've been foolish, but I'm growing, show improvement. If I got something to prove, then I'm proving it to myself. Then no matter how hard it get, I'ma play the cards that I dealt. Go hard for what I felt, but I'm feeling like killing everything in my path. Don't nothing last too long, even the pain stay strong till I'm under the grave and gone. Gotta get right for every time I did wrong. For every night I sat up like the cuff descended off. Got up from A4, standing tall, never gave up. Leave it to them to try to make it seem like they made us, cause they be showing love to disguise the fact that they hate us. Been in the game too long, nerve of them to try to play us. MVP most valid position, I'm comfortable wherever they couldn't fit in. You could have all the riches.
Alright, you're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking. Breaking the news, breaking the mainstream media.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
All right, so I gotta get out of here. End of my show, but thank you for listening. I'll try to get to more headlines the next time. But you've been listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the mainstream media with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Be resolute of heart, make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches, there's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside, every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went, not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach in it. Put an effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.